seen anything like that. I mean, I've seen jiu-jitsu, but those guys are amazing.
A great honor to have the Machado brothers.
Machado.
It's Carlos Machado.
All right, everybody, let's go for another episode at Coffee Time with Carlos Machado. Okay, so I'm really intrigued, curious, and excited with our next guest. Okay, he's a jiu-jitsu guy. He loves jiu-jitsu. He loves to surf, but he also is a shoemaker. This guy has some cool stuff that we're going to share. It's kind of like a legacy kind of business. You know, his family has come from the same niche, but he and his brother have started a new company with a new product that I'm wearing right now. You guys cannot see my foot, but here we go. This is pretty comfy. It's the most comfortable tennis shoes I've worn in a long time. Okay. So I have here with me no other than Mr. David Schlachter. And we're going to dig, David, into your story and how you came up with the name and the brand name and this whole journey. How does that sound?
I'm ready, man. I'm grateful to be here with a legend like you. So let's do it, man.
All right, my brother. Listen, so in previous conversations I had with you, we talked a bit about family business, all right, which in itself, it's an adventure. And so your dad and your uncle have a company, and then your cousin took over the company, and then he became your mentor. And now you and your brother are co-founders in the company that you guys have going, which I love your product, by the way. So why don't we start with that? How was it, this whole journey, seeing your dad in that business and then being mentored by your cousin, and how you took the initiative to eventually come to your brand? And we're going to dig deep into it.
Yeah, let's go. So like growing up, yeah, like you said, all I really knew was shoes, and I've grown up around that, and my dad's been talking about it nonstop, and he has really like left the door open to me and my brother, just on like car rides, anything. It was always an open conversation, whether he was talking to his brother Mark or anyone else in the business.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd constantly, whether it was consciously learning about shoes or subconsciously, it was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, by like age 15, I started collecting some shoes, and people would call it like being a sneakerhead. I got into Jordans, Adidas, all kinds of like expensive, classy shoes. But yeah, I got really into it. I started collecting them. I would trade them at points. I would learn to flip them, buy them at $200, sell them at $500.
Hold on, let's kind of put a pause here real quick, okay? We're going to get to that. I love this entrepreneurial kind of mindset that you had. I remember Gary Vaynerchuk a few years back when I watched one of his lectures. He was talking about in college how he was already hustling with cards, you know, the baseball cards, you know, and starting doing something with it. So you started to get the collectible items, and you created your own trade. Yeah, okay, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah.
So tell me how that started then.
So yeah, I just started like going up to LA on weekend trips, and I'd say my cousins kind of got me into it to where I started actually studying it and looking at these shoes as more than just a pair of Jordans, but like a piece of art almost. Like I kind of went into the history of the sport of basketball, and I would look at it and I'd learn why they looked at this shoe. At first, I just thought this is an ugly shoe, and I would never pay $200 for this. This is absurd.
When you say $200, how long ago was that?
Man, I think probably 2015.
2015?
Yeah.
So you got 10 years back. I wonder what $200 would be worth back then today.
Yeah.
You know, if you were to
Yeah.
kind of figure that out. Yeah, so probably way more than that. How much is a Jordan these days, by the way?
I think it's probably in that range still, around 200. They haven't shifted too much, but some of them have increased a bit. But the market has just become so diluted. Like it's like one release after another. Like now instead of each weekend, it's throughout the week. So the value of them has kind of slowed down. But at the time, it was hot commodity.
More special. Whenever it came out, it was like, it was limited edition by any chance? Like, or
Yeah. These brands only like make so many of them,
okay.
and certain stores only get so many of them. And by the time they sell out, it's no longer the brand naming the price. It's the people.
Wow. All right. So going back to your dad, and then we're going to go back to this. Actually, you're talking about this now, so let's dig it. So 10 years ago, you started buying collectible shoes, name brands like Jordan, and you go and resell them at a profit. How much business did you get from that? Was that something that you kind of reached a certain scale, or you did just for, for fun of it?
I think it was a little bit of my hobby. Like I really enjoyed learning about them and kind of the subculture of streetwear and sneakerheads. I thought it was very cool and intriguing. Like why do people do certain things that seem crazy to you as like an outsider, but once you start to look at it, it's like, oh, this makes sense. There's a history, there's a culture within this. And so
give me a random example here. On a weekend, how many items did you have, and how fast did you sell it?
It wasn't like, so it started out very small, and like I wouldn't say I scaled up to anything like massive, but it was just kind of one-offs. Like I would go in and I would tug my dad's arm. I'd be like, because this was before I even had my license when I was 15, but I was like, do you mind taking me to this Foot Locker? Today's the release of an Air Jordan 1. And I got in line, and I would sit in line for 2 hours and hope to be at the right spot in line to where I got a pair. And if I could get somebody else to stand in line, like my brother who isn't interested in shoes,
Wow.
I'd get 2 pairs. And then I would maybe flip one, keep one. if the shoe rose in value. Otherwise, I'd just be breaking even, and at least it was just learning.
All right, so tell me about your dad's business. I know we're talking about your business, but he had an interesting name, and I was intrigued, right? How could he pick up that name and not have any issues with Star Wars,
Yeah. Chewbacca is the name of the company.
Yeah.
And I think it's based off of Chewbacca.
Yeah.
My dad's not really like a Star Wars watcher, or his brother Mark. They weren't really super into it. Yeah, it was just kind of, let's do this. It's a great name. And yeah, with questions about how they didn't get knocked for it, I don't know. They did even like some trade shows with Peter Mayhew, who's like the OG Chewbacca in the movies.
Oh my
like
gosh.
7 foot.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's amazing. So when you pick a name for a company, that was a catchy name, and you have your name, Abstract Chimp, which it's very catchy. Like, I don't hear anybody ever mentioning this before, or I've never heard of a name like this before. Would you tell me a bit about how did you come up with the idea in the name picking?
And the origin of Abstract Chimp in the name came from probably my fascination with chimps. And I'm like super interested in chimps. Like at the time there was a TV series, I don't know if you saw it on Netflix, called Chimp Empire.
I've seen it. Those guys are mean, aren't they? Holy crap.
It's crazy.
Man, they wipe out each other if you don't watch out.
Yeah. You don't want to do jiu-jitsu with them.
Now, you said you enjoyed watching chimps documentaries way before Netflix then. It has always been something that you had interest.
Yeah, before the show, like I was definitely interested in them, and people talking about kind of like evolution and the origin of man. It was fascinating to me. And in this series, I think they mentioned something like we've got like a shared DNA at like 98% or more with chimps. And I was just like, well, that's probably something interesting to look into. Like, what do we do similar to these animals? What do we do differently? Is there society doing things better than us in some ways? Are we doing things like better than them in some ways? What does that look like?
Yeah, I'm sure you also were hooked on Planet of the Apes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Caesar.
Did you ever see the first one? I'm sorry, with Charlton Heston. This was like way back. I guess it's past your time, you know. But I remember. Roger, did you ever watch the first Planet of the Apes by any chance?
Yeah, I think it was in like Technicolor, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That was something else, man.
I need.
I mean, holy crap. Nowadays, you never know if they're going to implant a chip on a chimpanzee's brain.
Shoot.
You know, a half-size chimpanzee to our size, comparatively, can beat us up.
Yeah.
You know, they have such a crazy power.
It's crazy.
So, yeah, okay. So, but you liked chimps. You got intrigued and fascinated with the Empire of the Chimps,
Yep.
or Chimps Empire, Netflix. By the way, it's worth watching. The show is literally like a saga, like an epic journey. You know, I
100%.
really enjoyed it. So Abstract and then Chimps. You know, how did those two come together, and what's the deal?
I wanted to just kind of make a riff on evolution. So like, and kind of like a paradox almost, like we evolve, but it's never like, I think there's like a middle ground for where we evolve, but it's split into two different things, abstract and then chimp. Abstract kind of dictates much futurism. Like it's the compass of the future, and chimp is kind of the past or origin.
Okay.
And so I don't think you can really truly innovate without really like gratitude or like being involved in both of those.
Okay.
So you can't not know what's going on with the future and where we might be going. And you can't really make a good product for the future if you don't know where we came from.
I got you.
And with Barefoot Shoes, I just felt it was the perfect name because we've got the status quo of footwear, which is narrow toe boxes, kind of pointed at the toes.
Yep.
As soon as you take off your shoes, you come to realize my feet aren't shaped like that. And so I just thought it would be like a interesting name with chimp. Like we probably need something conducive to our toes that isn't crunching them and atrophying them.
Yep. I have to say, your shoes literally feel like I'm barefoot. You know, it's the most comfortable tennis shoes. And I don't understand why. I think it's more for optics or how he looks. That shoes get narrow towards the end.
Yeah.
You know, there has to be the explanation. Or I'm not sure if aerodynamics play a whole role on it. But it definitely, oh my gosh, having the, you know, a little wider the way yours are, your design. And maybe you can talk about that in a second. So how much of an influence your dad, I guess, had on you? And was your dad ever pressuring you to follow in his footsteps, or your uncle or your cousin, I guess, motivated you to follow your own somewhat in the same line of business?
I think there was very little pressure, but also at the same token, like I think it was always there. He always wanted me to be involved, and he never wanted me to be separate. Like anything he got into, I mean, he told all of my brothers and me growing up, like, we're his right-hand man. And like one day he won't be here. He wants us involved in everything he does.
So did he ever hire you? Were you working for him at a point in time?
I was not working. I mean, I was working for him at Chewbacca, but I would say it was more under Ryan's management.
Ryan's your cousin?
Ryan's my cousin.
All right.
Yep. But I mean, at some point in time in the business, my dad was managing Ryan and teaching him things too. So it's always just been kind of like a trade, much similar like jujitsu. Like
I got you.
And I know your boys in class, like they're there all the time.
Yeah.
It's like you want them involved.
Sure.
To somewhat, because I mean, there's something there that you've learned that's been super useful and beneficial to you in your life.
Yeah, I don't pressure my kids to follow my footsteps. One of them wants to run jiu-jitsu academies, wants to be involved with the martial arts. The others want to pursue getting a black belt eventually, you know. But they have different aspirations, I believe, at this point in regards to their career choices. But as a dad, I'm open if I can accommodate them to whatever degree. I'll be more than willing to help them if I'm in a position to, which I believe I am. Okay, so did you get any experience that you felt, I'm sure that's the case, to transfer to when you started your own business? And for the people, I guess, looking at this interview, the point that I make is a lot of times, you're a young man that you're starting a business. You're an entrepreneur. You got your online store. It's mainly online. You're in a niche that your family has occupied. And there's a difference, though, between the kind of products that you sell in the niche and the way they do business with your dad's company. I'd like you to elaborate on that a little bit. And then what are the challenges like for you to start a business? Did you need funding? If you can, share with us from your own relatives, is something that you put on your own with your brother? How does that work?
Yeah. So, to elaborate on Chewbacca and like Abstract Chimp being completely different, like, I mean, they're both shoes, but Chewbacca really, they have different like barefoot shoes on their site than Abstract Chimp too, but they also have what the current status quo of shoes are, from Adidas, Puma, really cowboy boots, anything really you can imagine.
So they sell their own name brand shoes, and on top of that, they're like a depot. They sell anybody else's brands as a reseller. Is that what you're saying?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, they help them out if like the brands ordered too many, or if the brands want to reach more people. They're there. They're
Okay.
always there.
How popular are those? I mean, is that something like, for instance, I'm sure your dad being in business for 25 years, there's plenty of business out there, right?
Mhm.
And I'm sure you have seasons like when you have like Black Fridays, Christmas time, all the shopping peaks of the year. How does that work?
There's a big bull rush of people during the holiday seasons. That's really like the busy time.
Mm-hmm.
There's also stuff for summer, and there's stuff for back to school, but the holidays is really a wild ride.
Mm-hmm. For that kind of business, would you say most of their profit is made in those peak times of the year?
Definitely. I'd say those are busy seasons, and when people are looking for deals and looking for new shoes or apparel or what have you.
I was like taken aback when I learned the real meaning of Black Friday, which apparently businesses operate in the red until Black Friday comes. And that's when they get into the black.
Really?
Yeah, that's what somebody told me. To whatever degree this is accurate or not, that's the origin of that name, Black Friday.
So like a losing season until...
No, a losing year until you get to that time of the year.
So
and then between then and Christmas, because there are some businesses that they max out on their revenues, let's say in a certain quarter, and then they average, their revenue throughout the year, but they already got their bulk
It's crazy.
taken care of. I wonder, I'm sure you have different cycles in which you can sell more or less. We're talking here now about your journey. Like, what does it take to run your own business? What kind of hesitation or doubts you have, and what kind of encouragement, if any, and if you and your brother, you are definitely on a journey, all right? And what are the challenges and your expectations about how this thing is unfolding? How long you guys been in business? What has been the play so far, and what do you see ahead?
Yeah. I think it's definitely a journey, and like we feel it, like there's lots of problems to be solved.
Can you tell me a couple?
Yeah. So in manufacturing and getting the shoes shape right, it's important. And I mean, we've had like almost 9 iterations on the shoes you're wearing right now. And it's just trial and error, and being open to the feedback of the errors. So detaching yourself from the process of invention or like innovation, and like, I created this is artwork. It's not you. when somebody tells you the collar may be a little bit irritating my ankle, take the feedback, digest it, go back and iterate the next model.
So did you beta test this before you released to the market?
Yeah, we beta tested with each round. So each round, it was like, try to find the spots that just weren't working, and also give grace to the manufacturer where things were working each time.
Was that customer feedback, or was that something you experimented within your group?
It was within the group. It was really my brother and me. And my brother's got a great eye for certain things, especially with me designing a lot of it. I would sometimes get pretty attached, but my brother would kind of reel it in and say, well, I think this could be an issue or this. And he would really ground me in that. And if it wasn't him, it would be someone in my family or friends. That's
interesting. We're interviewing Salt. Remember when Riley was talking about, he has the electrolytes called Salt. And isn't that right, Roger, that he sent out to his teammates at his academy and different people to test the product, flavor, and everything? This episode is brought to you by Machado Method Nutrition, premium fuel for disciplined athletes who train with intent and recover with purpose. Live the method, fuel the life. Start now at machadomethodnutrition.com.
I want you to just like show your product, man.
Yeah.
We're talking about these sweet shoes and nobody knows what we're talking about. So I think it'd be cool to pull them out.
Yep.
So this is our first model, the Abstract Chimp Fission 0.01. And the 0.01 is really just kind of like, this isn't our final product. We're going to be iterating more on these, but we want to get people.
Can you show upright so that people can see the shape?
Yeah.
Turn a little bit. Yeah. To the camera right there. Yeah. So he has the form of exact shape of the foot.
Totally.
If he was barefooted.
If you're able, so something that we really like test
that's
out.
The camera right there.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
This one, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, cool. So something that we always like test, if you want to test and see if your shoe shape is good or not for your foot, go ahead and like take your foot out of the shoe and try splaying your toes. Like go from this to this with your toes.
Yep.
And kind of notice, like, are your toes breaking through the sides like this, or are they just right? And if they're right, your shoe's probably no problem. But if they're not, you probably want a wider toe box.
Yeah, I can expand. I have wide feet. I have wide feet. And these shoes, I always have to buy one size larger than my normal shoe size because I need to have room to expand my toes. You know, my foot is pretty wide. Yeah, so your shoes don't give me that discomfort at all.
I feel like it's something common in the sport, like because jiu-jitsu, like guys who do train jiu-jitsu like for a while, they're already like barefoot most of the time. When they go back to put on their, I'm not gonna name any brands, but like when they go to like throw on some traditional shoes, a lot of times they're just squeezing their feet back into foot caskets.
Oh, 100%. Yep.
Did you come up wearing barefoot shoes or low heel or zero heel shoes? And is that what brought you on to wanting to create your own shoe? Can you talk about that experience? Because I have my own from 20 years of service in the Air Force and being forced to run and finding out that shoes with big heels caused me issues with heel striking and impacted my knees, back, and all kinds of other issues. And that led me down the barefoot Vibram 5-finger toe shoes. I was the goofiest guy in my squadron running, but I didn't care because I had no more back pain. But even though I had to relearn how to run because now I'm running on the balls of my feet instead of my heels, it caused a bunch of realizations that I wasn't using my calf muscles like they're designed to be used as shock absorbers. And the proper gait.
Relying on the shoes cushion like a little bit more.
I want you to nerd out a little bit on your why, your journey, like what made you think this is what I need to do. This is what I need to bring to the world to bring value, because I don't think people appreciate that or understand why people come out. Because this is a unique product in my eyes. It is a shoe, but it's very unique in what it is and what it brings. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I think that's wild that you said you were feeling goofy about it. Vibram, we're like, you were early on the movement. I mean, they were kind of the OGs of the space. I think in 2011 they started, or sometime there. But growing up, I did not wear barefoot shoes. As a baby, I think I may have, because an odd thing is like most like toddler shoes and baby shoes are formed with a wide toe box. And then when you go into like adult shoes, they're narrower for some reason. And I don't really know why that is. I don't know. I think it's probably because a lot of these businesses have created such revenue that they can't really take away or change their current model, because it might degrade the value of what they're currently selling. Like they might be stuck with a ton of units with narrow toe boxes when they try to do something with a wider toe box or anatomical shape. But yeah, with this shoe, I think the biggest points, like zero drop is amazing, which just means there's no elevation from heel to toe. You're flat as if how you would be when you're barefoot. And then for me, like the biggest factor in barefoot shoes is that wide toe box. Because I know like a lot of people, there can be functionality in drop. If you're going to the gym, doing squats, you might want a little bit of drop to take some pressure off of your knees. It's not super natural to have, 300 pounds on your back when you're squatting. So that can be useful. But yeah, I think the wide toe box is something I look at as just a non-starter for shoes and footwear. Like, we should be doing this. Why aren't we doing it?
Mm-hmm. Now, is this something that you recommend for casual wear and workout as well when you go to the gym?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, I mean, we really want to start kind of like a generalist shoe, not so much a specialist, with the Fission. And we want to give that casual look. To Roger's point, like in the space of barefoot shoes, like a lot of them are super functional, but they weren't really hitting the note of style for me. And I grew up around Vans, Converse. Those shoes were always stylish to me and looked cool and casual. And so I wanted to create something with a similar feel of like minimalism. I don't really want to brand too much on the shoe. If you look at it, I think that's an important part. I think we want people to really be the brand, and we don't want to be heavily branding and marketing all over people. So we wanted a minimalist look.
Yep.
I think you could wear those with anything. To me, that looks like a black on black pair of Vans from staring at it from over here. So you see, I'm wearing all blacked out. I wear all blacked out shoes.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll wear a gum sole, but I appreciate. This is the first time I'm seeing this shoe, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I'd wear that all day, no problem.
Yep.
We got to get you in some
Yeah.
ACs, man.
We do.
Yep.
We do.
So you working with your brother, how did you start the company? What did you need? What was you said the problems with the iteration, you had to do 9 rounds until you found, and I'm sure you're always evolving as you get customer feedback and time goes by. But what it is like, you start a business, and from that perspective, did your dad help you? Did you have any support beyond your family, or did you have come up with your own funds? How was it?
Yeah, I think like, again, probably he didn't really help me in the direction of like being all over the project. He helped with like a few connections within the industry, which gave us a little bit of like a head start to really go in the right direction. But he was pretty hands off. Like I think he's definitely noticed like my brother and me want to do something kind of independently in ourselves, whatever that means. I think really like subconsciously, again, like you're learning from all of these people far more than you think. Like even on like the mats, like it's the people who you're pissed at who beat you up who are really giving you the greatest lessons probably. And so I think you're constantly in a learning process, whether you know it or not. And many people are helping you, if not everyone. I feel like a deep gratitude, like really to like the whole human collective, because I don't think I would really create anything without them. They give me the looks. Like whether it's current barefoot shoes, whether it's traditional narrow toe boxes that have like a lot of style. I don't look at it as anything as like very black and white. I think I've gotten help in a lot of ways, but from like the financial standpoint, I was working at Chewbacca for 4 years before I really ventured off into this thing. My brother was in real estate right after college and before he moved to Australia for like a year or two. And so we had like a little bit of capital, and we really wanted to do this with skin in the game and do it ourselves. We didn't really want other people involved on the project yet. I think with relations, it can get complicated when you have too many people in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to start kind of small, and as time goes on, we hope to expand.
Mm-hmm. And this is an online business exclusively, right?
Yep.
That's how you work.
Right now, we're just staying online, direct to consumer. We hope to open up like a few different selling channels, but we're starting right now just within our own Shopify.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And how long ago was that?
When we started the business?
Yeah.
I would say probably 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
And not 4 years ago, maybe three or four.
So you self-funded, and you have like a period of time where you're testing your product,
Mm-hmm.
and then the release, and now you're going about and building it up. How does the market look at this point in time, and what kind of recent events took place that you feel and your effort is paying off?
Yeah. I think exposure is the name of the game. Like the more exposure we get and the more things, like the more we actually go to have conversations with people and talk to them,
Mm-hmm.
I think they can understand like pretty easily like the functionality and like the pros of the shoe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard to kind of like for people to like see what their toes can do and then see the
Yeah.
toe box they're wearing. It's hard for them to kind of argue against it. But like, I think really, we're not really trying to teach people. We're just trying to show them like, look what happens to your feet when you've got a wide toe box
Yep.
versus not, like, or give them like an example of like a cast. Like whenever like we give people examples of casts, it's super well received because like we all know what happens when you've got a leg break in your right leg, or like you've got an ankle break and you're wearing a cast for
A period of time. Yeah.
4 months.
Yeah.
And that's just 4 months. What happens when you've been wearing these shoes for the past 20 years?
Yep.
Like your muscles, your bones, like all of it's atrophied. You take that cast off, that right leg is much more small versus that left leg.
Right. So that's even from a health perspective, huh?
Mhm.
I guess wearing the right kind of shoes. So 4 years ago, you started, you self-funded, you work with your brother. What do you do? Do you go to trade shows, or I know you visit different academies here and there. You promote amongst your peers in jiu-jitsu. You have your social media presence. But what's is that word of mouth basically that gives you the most reference in regards to customers, or how does that work?
Yeah. I mean, we're still figuring out each piece and what's given us the most exposure. I think definitely trade shows have helped. Like just being where a lot of people are who are thinking in contrarian thought or different ways. Like I love like biohacking or health trade shows because it's the easiest spot, I feel like, to find someone who is already in that frame of mind of looking for different remedies than what is status quo.
That makes sense. Instead of going to a shoe trade show, you go to a biohack, because you're talking about barefoot, and people are open-minded. They're already looking or searching for something like it that resonate. So nowadays, for instance, we had in recent times a lot of changes in the global, I guess, way of supply and demand with tariffs, in different negotiations between countries. Is this something that you still depend on importing from different countries? And you don't have to give me a source, or is something that's American made? How does that is orchestrated?
Yeah. There's with tariffs and all of that, like it's out of our control in a lot of ways. The ideal way would be to manufacture here in America, in the US. I think it's harder to do that when you're trying to make something super functional. But that would be the ideal way. In terms of countries, like we really want to just look where we can make shoes, iterate quick, and show people, because aside from like where we manufacture shoes and like what we're doing, I think like the biggest thing for us is we need to get these shoes on people's feet quickly. Like it's not just really like a business thought for my brother and me. Before like the monetary incentive of this really comes people's lives that you can change. So that's at the forefront of our
So there's
minds.
a mission behind it. That's
Totally.
beautiful. Yeah. So where do you stand at this point in time with Abstract Chimp, 4 years into the game?
So I would say we're even like less than 4 years. A lot of that was R&D, but we're just figuring it out, man. Kind of like, I don't know, maybe call us like a prospect blue belt. We're just really wanting to figure it out. We want to be a black belt. We want to iterate, right? We want a good collective around us, great sparring partners. And yeah, man, we're looking for all the looks we can get.
Yeah, and the material, by the way, we talked about the shape and and the way it fits. Is this canvas? Is that what the material is?
Yep, organic cotton canvas.
Organic cotton canvas. Wow. What made you choose that? I'm sure it's lined up with your thought process.
Yeah, so earlier in like the process of building these shoes, I really wanted to create from biomass, which is really like pulling raw materials from the earth and creating with those rather than synthetics and whatnot. I think we came to reality. It's like it can be quite difficult in doing that, like especially at the early stages of a startup. But we still wanted to do it with as much as we can, and wherever we can, we want to do it. Like early in the process, we were trying to source. I'll give you an example. We were trying to source mycelium leather from Germany, and just like the quantity you have to like purchase to get that in your shoe, it just doesn't make sense from like a business standpoint. But to me, it's just super fun. Like working with like organic textiles. I mean, it'd be cool if we could just take our shoes off and throw them in the garden.
You reminded me of, I read a book a while back from the founder of Patagonia, the outdoors, gear company. And he has a book called Let My People Surf, because he was a surfer. So everybody in his warehouse, whatever he was originally, they would surf. And then they had like a family care for people that had kids. He was literally but he was using organic dyes on his textiles. Everything that he was doing was no pollutants. He was pretty adamant about contributing to the environment, so that's beautiful. So you use organic cotton. Yeah. And I'm sure, based on what you're saying, you already have that mindset. All right. So you and your brother, I worked with my brothers. We still have cooperative projects that we do. Roger has run a couple of Machado brothers camps and things like that. But working with a family is a lot of times it's like you have chefs. Although you have only one sibling working with you, and you have a whole family that works in the shoe business, and you have your dad and your uncle working together with your cousin, despite the fact that they seem to be more retired now, the elders. I'm sure you have some challenges on the day-to-day when you have differences of opinion and what different approach, like more than one chef in the kitchen.
Yep.
Do you have a specific, from what I understand, you have more of a specific role in the company, and your brother has a different, and you guys interact with one another, adding to one another. Is that how it works?
It's definitely a good question. Like, I think we always are like kind of sparring with each other in a way, not just for the sake of like fighting, but like more for the sake of finding like a truth, and whoever's got a more grounded truth in what they're saying, they've got that process. But we frequently are trying to find like, what are our roles? You're going to be over here. I'm over here. We're going to stay working on these. And that's the best way we've found that works for us, is we're going to be specialized, and we're not going to be both generalists who do everything.
So what will be your role in his role?
I think a lot of what I do is like brand design.
Well, the creative, the artistic.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been a little bit more of like an operator in the sense of what is like the number one thing we can be working on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he spearheads it.
Right.
And he's much quicker than me in that way. I'm very slow.
You're like a dreamer that has the vision, and he catches it and tell, okay, we're going to break this down. Step 1, step 2. He brings you back to the real world. Not that you're not there, but be an artist. You know, I remember Roger and I had a lecture with a good friend of ours a while back, and he talked about the buckets, right? You have the creative bucket, you have the analytical bucket, you know, and a lot of times you have to operate on one or the other, because the analytical is the one that criticizes, plays the devil advocate. And he's going to tell you why you shouldn't do that right away, put this on the shelf, because you have all these different ideas, and pick one. Let's start with this one. So it seems like there's this, it's so hard sometimes to deal with that, isn't it, Roger?
Yeah, you have to almost have an established process. Like, you know, we even have like dreaming bucket. We have to start the conversation with, hey, I'm in the dreaming bucket right now. This is an idea that I would really like to eventually, when the time is right, when finances, production, whatever the case may be. That way the context is not, it allows you're the person you're speaking to also have a dreaming mind, so you can have good ideas together. Because naturally, like for me, I'm a realist. So if you come to me and you say, hey, I want to do this or that, I'm right off the bat going to look for ways to poke holes in your bucket.
Steel man it.
Yeah, and make sure that because I'm trying to protect you, protect the business as a servant leader, right?
Yeah.
So by me saying, hey, I want to talk to you, but I want to talk to you, I'm coming from the dreaming bucket, it automatically kind of puts the context of the conversation. It lets our guards down to be able to have that conversation together, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, process is really important. Just the process of actually having a conversation and working as a team when it comes to business.
Yeah.
Is just super important. So we kind of understand what's expected out of that conversation. If we're going to have hey, I need you to be the devil's advocate. I need you to be the guy who's going to poke holes in my bucket. Here's my idea. Here's my thoughts. Now that allows me to start being critical of your thoughts and your processes or your dreams, so I can try to make reality of it or find a way to do it.
Yeah.
These are the problems we have now. Now, what do we got to go do? Where are the constraints? So, I mean, what Carlos said is very true. It's hard to have these conversations unless there's something in place.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
well, I can tell you, this is actually after we had the lecture. It was George Bryant. Great guy, George Bryant. Bryant, if you're there, buddy, big hug. You did help my marriage a lot. So the reason I say that, my wife operates from an analytical bucket. She's not the dreamer. She is the one she's the doer. She will put everything in place like your brother does. I'm a dreamer. So a lot of times I share with her, I have this idea, I have this vision, I have this, I have that. And a lot of times you kind of travel into this rabbit hole and you become very romantic about what it takes to make that happen. You know, so you always have to have that filter. But I believe, according to what Roger said, some conversations, when they are on the creative mindset, you establish the protocol. Hey, let's just dream, hypothetically. Let's not worry about how we're going to get this done. Let's just talk about all these ideas and just put it out there on a blackboard, a whiteboard. And I guess later, okay, let's talk about the critical, bucket. Let's see what's real that we can do right away.
Feasible.
If we're to do all that, what goes first? What should be a priority? And I think a lot of times where people kind of get messed up, you have one business that's going well, but you have different tangent ideas that deviate you from your core. And when you try to go back and forth between the two, you sacrifice a bit your focus on the core element or the core of your business. And that will literally, in my opinion, undermine a lot in the long haul the outcome of your success. And it's good to have somebody who's a truth teller
Yeah.
Telling you as it is. And I'm telling you, in any business, the real challenge is you're going to have two kind of people. And I'm not trying to go on a tangent here. Those who tell you something that's not true to deviate you from your focus or to gain some advantage over you.
Mm-hmm.
And those who know the truth, but they don't want to tell you because they feel they're going to offend you.
Mm-hmm.
So you want a complete different character. Tell me the truth, no matter how much it hurts.
Yeah.
You know, Chuck Norris, for instance, in his peak of success, he had a handful of people that would tell him what pleased his ear. When he was the executive producer of Walker, Texas Ranger, he had more work stacked than anybody I've seen. You know, you have no idea how much work it is to be the one main guy in a TV show. But they had very few people that would tell him exactly what he needed to hear. Those are the ones that he wanted nearby. You know what I'm saying? And if you see, look, monarchs, emperors in history, they always have one counselor that they have. You know, Aristotle was the counselor of Alexander the Great.
Yeah.
Alexander the Great, if you told him something he didn't want to hear, he would kill you. But he would hear out Aristotle because he had the wisdom and he was the mentor, you know, of throughout his life.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see how things unfold. So,
Yeah.
just saying.
I think that's so interesting with like history.
Yeah, can you check on that if Aristotle was the mentor of Alexander the Great? Because I'm almost positive I read that. I don't want to mislead the public and give the wrong information, but the analogy applies.
Yeah.
How many kings have counselors? You know, of course you have the superstitious ones, the magicians or the psychic readers that people go with superstition in it. The astrologers. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Aristotle and Alexander. So I guess your brother is the one that tells you what you need to hear, right?
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
I think that's beautifully said. Like, I feel like as many people who you can have in your corner telling the truth, even when it offends you, I think it's just something you gotta get used to. Like, in jiu-jitsu, there's no line on the mats. I hear this, like, I think
the mat never lies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
exposes the truth right there, right then.
Yeah. That's just like I feel that's.
Yeah. You said something, being artistic, you get attached to the product of your art.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a lot of times you get attached to it to the benefit or detriment of the product, because your brother you're telling me earlier, he's more concerned how the audience, how the public will take that. And a lot of times that's the thing that we get caught up with. We want to leave our imprint because we feel it's like that little piece of legacy that we're throwing out there. It's my design. It's my taste. I love it. And you kind of let that be on the way of the realization that if you're actually serving the public and you're going to sell to the public, they are the ones that should be heard,
making the decision,
heard first, or have the ultimate, opinion on the matter.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think not being attached, sometimes it's a very helpful thing, and hearing out those you want to serve. It's kind of hard, right, Roger? Like you have your way. Do you see how CEOs a lot of times get stuck with that? Okay, it's going to be my way, despite the fact that times are changing, and they can literally sink a ship. Yeah. How many companies are successful and they replace CEOs, and the new one jumps in and wants to change it altogether, a winning formula. Like a coach in a football team that he gets replaced for a reason or another, but the team is doing great. And the new coach, oh no, we're going to change all the tactics, all the play calls and stuff. So a lot of times you really have to get yourself outside and look from an observer's perspective. It's not that easy,
I feel like on this second batch, like we're prototyping some new ones right now, and I'm a lot closer to that process of like, I watched like a video on this not too long ago about like, we are not our ideas. And like, just kind of what you were saying, like, you're not your idea. This idea is like, it's going to go and it's going to be democratized to everyone. It's for everyone anyways. In the first place, I
think we are electric beings that have antennas. That's the way I look at it. And then you have the ether, where every vibe, every thought frequency travels through. You emit one, somebody emits one, and a lot of times we catch it.
Yeah.
So I think just the fact that you conceptualize or think about something, you're already throwing out there. That's why I feel it's really important to write it down. And if there's merit to pursuing that idea, you should have a game plan and take concrete steps, because that idea that's being thrown out there, somebody's going to capture it. And if you don't act on it, somebody else will have that
idea.
Will, whether it becomes from that way or different way, they're going to, if you think about something, the odds are very high somebody else will think kind of like the same thing.
Yeah.
If not at the same time, at one point in time.
And it's like a weird thing.
You know what I'm saying?
When they start talking about all of a sudden, because you're like, that was my idea,
Yeah.
but it's not.
Yeah, so I'm not sure this experiment that talks about this. There are two groups of monkeys in an island. I'm not sure if they were chimps, but this was an experiment. There's a book called The Third Monkey. Can you check the author of that movie? It's a evolutionary biologist, I believe. It's a researcher, very famous guy. He was at Joe Rogan's in the past. And he was talking about the experiment. The west side of the island, the monkeys learn how to break the coconut with rocks, and then drink the water and eat the meat, right? But the ones on the south who never interacted, after a while, they started to repeat that same behavior. So how can they actually catch up
Being isolated.
with the other guys not ever interacting with one another? That's what you talk about, the collective mind, I guess, perspective. I do think that who wrote it?
You said it was called The Third Monkey?
Yeah, book. Yeah, it's the book.
Monkey
Yeah.
book.
Yeah. Anyhow, I feel
Third chimpanzee.
the third chimpanzee.
Oh man,
I believe that's the
you're
one.
gonna send me on down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, the third chimpanzee, Jared Diamond.
I'm reading this.
Yeah, you gotta catch that up.
Yeah. Some homework.
Yeah, I have that book. Yeah, it's quite interesting. But anyhow, so it compares, kind of like what you're saying, comparison between human and chimpanzee groups.
Yeah.
How there are similarities and discrepancies on their behavior and stuff like that.
And he says it's something energetically that could have done that, or does he feel like a chimp swam to an island?
Well,
So I guess there was some story about the use of I'm dumbing. This is seen not just in chimps but in other animals too, where there's specific the same species on different islands, and they never interact with each other, and they end up figuring out how to. They basically evolve some of the chimps on one island will figure out how to use a rock specifically to open a coconut. I'm dumbing this down big time. Right, whereas the other monkeys would never ever eat the coconuts, but then over time, the other monkeys started figuring out to break open the coconut with the rock. But even they've never traveled, they've never swam to each other, but they all somehow had the same idea, and the idea is that our thoughts are in the ether, and the other monkeys are downloading those thoughts.
They can get them too.
Yes.
Yeah, we're electric beings. Dude, I'm down with that concept.
So since we're talking about electric beings and shoes. Like grounding is a big thing right now. People are taking their shoes off. They're going outside. People are spending more time in the sun. There seems to be
barefooted, connecting with the earth.
Yeah.
There seems to be a big movement. I'm gonna say a backwards movement to the way things used to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what are your thoughts on grounding shoes? Because I've seen those coming up now.
Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it.
They have a little copper
Yeah.
element, and a lot of times they're made of leather.
Yeah.
My uncle Carlos Gracie, by the way, he never worn rubber shoes. He always wore leather sole leather shoes, because he feels not barefooted.
Ahead of the time.
For that reason, he wanted. I use grounding mats, by the way.
Beatrice bought grounding shoes
To sleep on?
Yeah, I sleep like a baby.
And
I mean, it's literally. Now you don't use those if there's lightning storms you're going on, in case there's like a lightning strike near you. You don't because you have to plug to the grounding on the outlet.
Okay,
And
that
that's
electric.
how. Yeah.
I've heard people like literally like attaching like it's the same sheet, but they don't even plug it into the wall. They like hammer in like a copper nail into the ground,
Yeah.
rope a silver thread, and bring it all the way up to their house and
Yep.
tie it to the mattress.
You can do that too.
So cool.
It's the same thing. Just that with the pads, it becomes. Yeah, but that whichever way you do it, that works.
I remember the first time talking to you, actually, like bringing up the shoes, and you had mentioned like are they grounded? And I was like, no, damn, you're ahead of the game. You know the evolution of where this is going.
Yeah, they say this is the extent of how this goes. If you have, let's say, people that have to use blood thinners, if they walk barefooted a lot, they have to slow down on their blood thinners because just doing that naturally thins out your blood. Just being barefooted a few minutes a day on the ground.
Lowering blood pressure and stuff.
I'm not sure. I'm sure there are other benefits as well because it's all more about getting rid of electric charge.
Yeah.
There are negative
ions.
Yeah. So this episode is sponsored by Stay Humble Coffee. Coffee is so good, it doesn't need to brag. Find it at stayhumblecoffee.com.
Yeah, you could. Can I chime in on that?
Yeah.
As somebody who actually went through that process, because I had to run as part of my career. Like I had to run, and I went from the latest and greatest New Balance to actually when you join the Air Force, there is a New Balance model. I forgot the model, but they issue you a pair of New Balances that say USA on the back, and they have the biggest hard foam cushion on the back of them. They're like the dad New Balances.
990s.
Yes.
That's the one.
Yeah. So I went through all the different iterations of New Balances to help my back and like all the grandfather ones, everything, like all the different models. I can't even think of all the 99 numbers that I've been through, but they went from that to a bunch of different other ones to eventually say, I'm going to try something completely opposite because what I'm doing is not working. And I'm going to go with the barefoot thing. I tried Fila had some for a while.
Really?
But Vibram was the first one. Fila came after later, and they were just like knockoffs, but they weren't quite the same. I went all in with the Vibrams, and I tried to go run 1.5 miles, and my calves were on fire. And then I felt like I had some plantar fasciitis stuff going on. And I realized after reading, I can't remember who the doctor was. I wish I'd looked this up before, but basically one of the instructors at Harvard basically said that your feet are out of shape. The muscles in your feet and your calves, if you've been running in anything with a large cushion, is going to be completely out of shape because you haven't been using it. You've been using your hamstrings and the muscles of your lower back to propel and shoot yourself forward.
For sure.
When now you're barefoot, now you're using the balls of your feet, and your calf is acting like an absorber, like a shock absorber now. And then when you propel, it's also your calf shooting forward. You're absorbing and you're using your feet the way you're supposed to, because your feet, the arches of your feet, are actually propelling you forward, which is why you have to walk, slow, jog. Like basically, it took me a month to build up short spurts at a time. I did a lap, took a break, did a lap, and did that over time. And after a month, I was able to run a good, strong 1.5 miles, then 2 miles. Then after about 6 months, I was up to 5 miles, but it took me like 6 months to condition the muscles, tendons, and my feet and my calves just to be able to get there.
Yeah.
And I did that all just like the bare bones, like the almost like ballerina shoe looking Vibrams. And then eventually I moved up to the leather ones with like the rock climbing, the grip on the bottom, and like I got all the different colors, and I was like all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you start to find like that kind of like almost like intuitiveness like in the body? Like we talked about like being the possibility of us being like electromagnetic beings. Like did you start to get a feeling like as you were doing that? Like I mean, I know you said your calves were on fire on that first run.
Yeah, after about month 2, and of course stretching and a bunch of other stuff that I had to implement into this. After month 2, my body started to correct its own. Like my running gait was wrong because I used to try to open my legs as wide as I could, and that would make my heel strike. Once I realized that if I kept my heels behind me, if that makes sense, and I leaned forward, I think it's called the pose method of running. Once I figured that part out, and then me leaning forward a little bit made the toes and the balls of my feet land first, and that's what gave me the spring action and the arch in my foot to help me
Strengthen.
propel forward. Yes. Once I figured that part out, and then there's another book called, I think it's called Born to Run.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Christopher
Is that-
McDougall.
Yeah.
Is that the guys in Mexico that
Yes.
run barefooted?
Basically, they have a piece of leather in toe so they don't cut their feet, but yeah, they're basically barefoot.
Is that 100-mile marathon?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think one of the girls from their tribe have recently resurfaced because she rejected a Nike offer or something like that in the headlines. Yeah. So I read that book. It's been probably 12, 13. No, it's been like 18 years.
Did David Goggins ever run that marathon, the 100-mile?
He ran quite a bit, but
Yeah. I think he may. May have.
And he would be like messed up at the end of his marathons too.
Yeah, I guess would this, for workout purposes, this tennis shoe, I feel it's comfortable for anything else, walking and stuff. It recovers your foot's natural shape without compressing it with the narrow toe boxes. I'm sorry. But I went to the gym yesterday, and I was actually wearing this. I felt so comfy. I was doing leg press. I was doing some leg exercises, and
Awesome.
I felt good.
Yeah, you see people taking off their shoes. You don't even have to do that if you're wearing these.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Christopher
Zola.
McDougall. Yep, the author.
Yep.
And then there's quite a few. I don't know who Bebe Bakila is. This Olympic marathon winner who ran barefoot.
Oh, I've seen that.
A renowned runner known for barefoot participation in the 1984 Olympics.
Wow.
So
Way to go. We start a movement now, huh?
Yeah.
So let's get some other cool stuff in the bank, right?
yeah, I'm just curious what's next for you guys, because you said you have a couple iterations coming out. I think this is already a great start, but what's kind of in the future for you guys, and then what are some of your dream bucket ideas or things that, if you're allowed to share? 'Cause I
Yeah.
don't want you to put out any
No, I think
secrets or anything.
it's already in motion, so I don't really feel much like I'm actually wearing one of the future iterations right here on the show. So these are an early sample. This is like our first test on this model. And so this is going to be a little bit more specialized than this one, but still with kind of generalist undertones. Like it's not so athletic that you're not going to be able to go out to get a coffee with someone. You're not going to be able to do those things. Like it's still kind of got that minimalist vibe, but
It's more casual.
yeah.
Okay.
I think some other things that would be cool in the future. I think there's a lot that we can do. I think something transitionary would be cool, because I think oftentimes it's hard to bridge the gap to somebody with such a minimalist outsole. Like some people want a little bit higher of a stack height on outsoles. So I think to that person who really is like slowly, gradually adapting to it, but they still want to hit their run and have a wider toe box, that could be something interesting. And that's something I've definitely thought of and already began to design on.
Mm-hmm. Talk a bit about your product now, besides everything else, and if you have some demo material, and then where people go to get it, and how does that work?
Yeah.
For the audience out there.
So.
Can I see some of your shoes? Is that the same one, that the box that you brought?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
These are the different colorways. I think right here we got the white pair.
yeah. Why don't you just pull it off? Pull it
Pull
off.
it out.
Yeah. I want to kind of have an overview, and then because it's like probably similar to the one I'm wearing, right?
Yep, this is
Okay,
the one.
Let me take a hold of that for a second, real quick.
Oops.
Sure. All right, I'll put the camera on me here real quick. So this is what I got. Okay. So keep the camera on me for now, Roger. Go about and tell me everything about the shoe that I have here in my hand.
So that right there is our first model, the Abstract Chimp Fission .01. And we wanted to just break into the market with something minimalist, super like casual style,
Mm-hmm.
can be kind of worn in any manner. It's really our generalist.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got a 0 drop outsole, meaning there's 0 stack height from heel to toe. You're flat just as if you would be barefoot.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got wide toe box,
Okay.
which is going to
So here, literally, this is the shape of the foot right there. I can see that. I'm wearing this as we speak. Okay. Yep. And actually here, it's funny. I just saw that, paid attention. It has the print of the foot underneath the sole. As you can see that literally it's the footprint right there. That's quite interesting.
Yeah, that's the reflexology chart we took
Wow.
from Eastern medicines with all of the acupressure points with your meridians.
You got the acupuncture map over here.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about the material. You said something about.
Organic cotton canvas on the upper. And then anywhere we had to use like synthetic polyesters, they were fully recycled. And
Which is minimal, right? You don't have much.
very minimal. The bulk of the shoe is definitely the organic cotton canvas.
Wow.
It's awesome.
This is so cool. And you have mainly white and black, or you have.
Just neutral tones. So we started simple with some yin yang, white, black, and then we also got a cream colorway.
Okay. This is awesome. And I guess the model that you're wearing, the more casual, is it already available?
Not quite, but
Not
soon.
quite.
Soon.
Okay.
Yeah. For now, these are our. This is like our flagship model, and we're wanting people to get involved with these, and then stay tuned with us because we've got a lot more coming.
Yeah. So, you have your website, and your social media.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, how people will get a hold of that, and we're gonna put the link. By the way, everything's gonna be.
We gotta
laid
get
out.
a good discount code for your viewers too.
Okay. Cool.
We'll have that after the show, in the show notes or something. But the website is abstractchimp.com, and then at Abstract Chimp on social media.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And anything coming up in the near future in terms of events or deals going on? I'm so glad you are one of our sponsors as well.
Yeah, we're stoked to be one, man.
That's awesome. But I really appreciate. But tell me about anything going on in the short term.
I'm pretty laser focused on some new designs right now, and also just trying to figure out ways we can market and get the community involved a little bit more. And so, yeah, that's really it. We're trying to find as much kind of like grassroots, like spots we can sell to, some booths, if we can sell at gyms or any of your affiliate gyms with like any of your partners. Like,
Sure.
we'd love to get involved. And
Well, they will eat that up.
man,
Yep.
yeah, just spread the good word. That's all we're trying to do.
Yep. What do you have for him, Roger? Any other questions that you want to add on?
No, I think this is awesome. I think that you got the right idea and you're on the right direction with this product. I think a lot of people are going to be served by what you've created, and we're just excited to have you talk about this stuff because I think more people need to see it.
Man, thank
That's
you so
amazing,
much.
man. Listen, thank you so much for your time, David. I know you gotta get dressed up to go for some jiu-jitsu training later. I look forward to seeing you on the mats.
Oh, can't wait, man. Thank you for having me on.
Right on.